their parents' home when all of a sudden one of them collapses from a sudden cardiac arrest. Immediately call 911. The next step that most people would seem to take is to perform CPR. However, according to the American Heart Association, only 70% of Americans know how to perform CPR. So at least 30% of most Americans just stuck at step one, calling 911 and hoping that they would survive and the ambulance will get here on time. However, CPR is a vital skill that could increase the chances of people who suffer from a sudden cardiac arrest. So today I want to explain to you the dangers of sudden cardiac arrest and why learning CPR is important to prevent the numbers of sudden cardiac arrest deaths to go up. So first, I want to explain what sudden cardiac arrest is. Cardiac arrest is when the heartbeat just shuts down. Usually it is an electrical problem, so it's not correlated to obesity or diabetic problems. However, of course, those issues do also increase the chance of sudden cardiac arrest, though, in certain cases. In the medical field, it is when the heart just stops beating in any medical situations, such as surgery or transplants or in the hospital. It'll just be referred to cardiac arrest. However, outside the medical environment, it's called sudden cardiac arrest because it's an electrical problem that can happen anytime and anywhere. And of course, like I said earlier, it can happen to anyone in a good, healthy condition. So, what separates this from a heart attack is that the heart attack is positively correlated with obesity and diabetes and other diseases that can lead to a heart attack. And during a heart attack, a person is still conscious and the heartbeat is still flowing, but is having trouble to pump the blood to certain areas of the body. That's how come they're still able to breathe and function. However, they'll report chest pains and pain obviously where the artery is blocked. So in these situations, you should be very specific in saying what is a sudden cardiac arrest and what is a heart attack, because that could very well influence the ambulance getting here on time, and which is around 7 minutes. However, 7 minutes is still the golden standard for ambulances to get in any medical emergency. So now that we know what the difference between those two are, I want to explain some statistics on sudden cardiac arrest and why it's important to learn CPR because of these statistics. According to Mary Newman, president of the Sudden Cardiac Arrest Foundation, sudden cardiac arrest, or SCA, kills around 326,200 people, Americans, annually. And this is I quote from Newman, this is roughly equivalent to the number of people who die from Alzheimer's, assault with firearms, breast cancer, cervical cancer, colorectal cancer, diabetes, HIV, house fires, motor vehicle accidents, prostate cancer, and suicides all combined. And Newman also reports that 9 out of 10 people who suffer from sudden cardiac arrest die. And according to the American Heart Association, 80% of those sudden cardiac arrests that happen outside the hospital occur inside homes. So if you experience, I won't say if you experience, but if someone that you would ever meet in your lifetime would suffer from sudden cardiac arrest, it would be someone that you probably care for, like a friend, a family member, or going on in their own home. So why should we learn CPR? Going back to the statistic about the 88% of occurring houses, of course you want to save the person that you probably care for, not a random person on the sidewalk where you probably may never meet again. But of course, you should still be obligated to help them in any way, even if you do not know CPR. So, CPR, however, is of course the best way to save a person's life from sudden cardiac arrest. According to the American Heart Association, by performing proper CPR, which is with proper hand compressions, you can increase the chance of a person suffering from sudden cardiac arrest from 1 out of 10 to around 1 out of 5 or 1 out of 3, which is still better than 1 out of 10. I'll admit that. And then also according to American Heart Association, proper CPR does not require the rescue breath where you breathe into the mouth to have air flowing. So that probably alleviates a lot of the germophobics. I get the germophobes from performing the mouth to mouth that can seem very uncomfortable to a lot of people. They stated that the hands-only CPR is just as effective if done correctly with the hand compressions underneath the diaphragm rather than directly on the chest. And lastly is the Good Samaritan Law. The Good Samaritan Law is a law enacted in all states that allow people to provide help in any emergency, as so far if it's in good faith and without compensation. However, John Miller, who wrote the article, The Sorry State of Good Samaritan Laws, wrote that in California, it previously did not cover people like us doing a good faith acts in a medical emergency. It's only applied to medical personnel such as paramedics, doctors. So if there are doctors on scene, they should be obligated to help. If we were to help, we could still get sued. However, due to a case that happened, I believe, in 2007, we are now covered by that as medical care and non-medical care, which includes us, so that we could be on the scene to help people. So when people suffer from sudden cardiac arrest or any accident, we could go in there and help. So going back, how this relates to sudden cardiac arrest, CPR is definitely the best way to be practices of those Good Samaritan laws whenever someone is suffering from that. So this should actually encourage us to learn CPR, because proper CPR can increase the chances. Improper CPR can only lead to probably broken bones and maybe not the increase in likelihood of surviving. So even though the Good Samaritan Law protects us, it encourages us to be certified in CPR or to at least learn it. That way we are still doing something on the scene. And lastly, there are only 24 states that require CPR to be learned in school, most assuming high school. California has not passed any laws correlating to that. However, there are programs called School CPR, which provides a free program where students can learn CPR in classes. Back in Florida, I took one of these classes when the school required it, even though they were not part of the law. However, most of the students that learned it within a 45-minute period and within their own class period, which is not. So they didn't take a whole semester class or a whole year class on CPR, but it's only an hour to an hour and a half that they learn CPR. So learning that CPR can be such a vital skill and is very easy to learn, I believe CPR is probably the best way to decrease the deaths of sudden cardiac arrest.
All right, Danny, I don't know if you realized it, but that was the person that you were supposed to be doing the oral evaluation for, so can you give us a few comments? Just to do the best you can. I know you walked in just as he was starting.
Overall, your speech topic was pretty persuasive. Give us several statistics and quotes, which are good also. Overall, you did a good job.
Well, Nate, I thought you had a good, strong opening image there, but I think you need a little more emotional power to it. I think you have a pretty clear topic. There's a good preview there. In the body of the speech, you were citing information pretty effectively. You distinguish sudden cardiac arrest from having a coronary. I thought that was relatively well explained. I do think you need to give us some sources on that information, but I don't doubt that what you're describing is accurate factual data. The idea that ambulances need at least 7 minutes, and that you're lucky. I think you need to tie that in a little bit more to survivability issues. How long does it take a person to die of sudden cardiac arrest without this kind of assistance? I think there's probably some statistical information on that. You had some good data about the number of people who die, and you presented it in a pretty significant way. I thought that worked pretty well. You do have an emotional appeal in there, the idea that you're going to most likely be helping someone that you care for, somebody that matters to you. I think this would be a good place for an example here, especially somebody who failed, who felt powerless, and they could tell their story. If only I could do something, but I didn't know anything to do. I didn't have any idea what to do, and I watched my father, mother, brother, husband, wife, die in front of me, that kind of thing. That would probably get a little guilt and a little anxiety going on the part of most listeners and motivate them a little bit more. I think your information about the California law and the ruling should be a little bit clearer on those things. On your delivery issues, I think your voice is good, your eye contact's good. I'm trying to figure out why you're standing behind the demo station and as far away from us as you could possibly be. Step forward, be a little bit more sort of that way. You've got some good ethos by talking about your personal experience there, so I'm not, that's a little inconsistent with the behavior that you're exhibiting non-verbally. All right, thank you.